Today I'll be covering all the tanks used by the Axis powers during World War II. Steel machines that helped shape one of the most brutal conflicts in human history. Nazi Germany. Panzer I was the first tank fielded by Nazi Germany during its rearmament period. Armed only with twin machine guns and protected by very thin armor, it served primarily as a training vehicle, helping build the foundations of Germany's armored forces and laying the groundwork for blitzkrieg in the early years of the war. Panzer II was developed as a stopgap, while the Panzer III and Panzer IV were still not ready for service. Equipped with a 20mm cannon, it was outmatched by enemy tanks but remained mobile, and was widely used during the invasions of Poland, France, and the early fighting in North Africa. Panzer III became the backbone of German armored forces in the early stages of the war. Initially armed with a 37mm gun and later upgraded to a 50mm cannon, it was designed specifically for tank-on-tank combat and operated alongside the Panzer IV within Germany's armored doctrine. Panzer IV began its service life as an infantry support tank, but gradually evolved into the mainstay of Germany's tank force. Once fitted with a long-barreled 75mm gun, it became one of the most balanced tanks of the war and the most widely produced German tank overall. Panther, or Panzer V, was developed in response to the Soviet T-34. Its sloped armor, powerful long-barreled 75mm gun, and excellent accuracy made it one of the most formidable tanks of World War II, despite early reliability problems. Tiger I became the symbol of German armored power. With thick armor and the legendary 88mm gun, it could destroy most Allied tanks at long range. Its appearance on the battlefield forced Allied units to rethink their tactics. Tiger II, also known as the King Tiger, featured nearly impenetrable frontal armor and an even more powerful 88mm gun. Although slow and mechanically complex, it inspired fear wherever it appeared. Panzer 35T was originally produced in Czechoslovakia and taken over by Germany after the occupation. Lightly armored but highly mobile, it saw extensive service in Poland and France. Panzer 38T, another captured Czechoslovak design, proved reliable and easy to maintain. It was used in several early campaigns before its chassis became the basis for famous German armored vehicles later in the war. Panzer II Lux was a fast, lightly armored reconnaissance tank produced in limited numbers. Its speed and mobility made it well suited for scouting and screening roles. Panzer III Flampanzer was a flamethrower variant of the Panzer III, designed to attack fortified positions and defensive strongpoints. Its flame weapon made it especially dangerous in close-quarters combat. Neubaufahrzeug was one of Germany's few multi-turret tank designs. Only a handful were built and sent to Norway, where they were used mainly for propaganda rather than combat effectiveness. Italy, L3/33, was an ultra-light tank armed with twin machine guns and widely used by Italy in Ethiopia and North Africa. Its thin armor limited its survivability, but it was suitable for reconnaissance and light infantry support. L3/35 was an improved version of the L3/33, featuring minor upgrades to armor and equipment. In many battles, it was forced to face opponents far superior in firepower and protection. L6/40 was an Italian light tank armed with a 20mm cannon. Although underpowered, it was reasonably reliable and served in Libya, the Balkans, and on the Eastern Front. M11/39 was Italy's first medium tank, but its outdated design, with the main gun mounted in the hull, made it poorly suited for fighting British tanks. Still, it played a role in the early North African campaigns. M13/40 became Italy's most recognizable tank of World War II. Despite weak armor and firepower compared to its opponents, it formed the backbone of Italian armored units in the desert and fought in several major engagements. M14/41 was an improved version of the M13/40, featuring a more reliable engine and continued service in North Africa. M15/42 was the final Italian tank to see service during the war. With improved armor and a more powerful gun, it arrived too late and in too few numbers to make a significant impact. P26/40 was Italy's only medium tank with a truly modern design. Armed with a 75mm gun and better armor, it appeared too late to change the course of the war, but demonstrated Italy's industrial potential. Japan. Type 89 Igo was Japan's first medium tank and saw widespread use during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Armed with a 57mm gun, it was primarily intended for infantry support. Type 92 heavy armored car, despite its name, was essentially a light tank used for reconnaissance and support duties in Manchuria. Type 94 TK was a small, agile reconnaissance tank capable of operating on difficult terrain. Thin armor limited its protection, but it suited the conditions of Asian warfare. Type 95 Heigo was the most common Japanese light tank. Lightly armored but highly mobile, it served across a wide range of battlefields from China to the Pacific Islands. Type 97 Chiha was Japan's standard medium tank, armed with a 57mm gun. While underpowered by European standards, it performed adequately in jungle warfare. Type 97 Chiha Kai, also known as Shinhoto, featured a more powerful 47mm gun, improving Japan's ability to engage American tanks. Type 1 Chihi was an upgraded version of the Chiha, with thicker armor and improved performance, introduced late in the war. Type 2 Kato was a modernized light tank produced in limited numbers, offering better armor and firepower than earlier designs. Type 3 Chi-Nu was the most powerful Japanese tank produced in significant numbers, armed with a 75mm gun, more suitable for fighting Sherman tanks. Most were held back for the defense of the Japanese home islands. Type 4 Kainu combined the hull of the Type 95 with the turret of the Chiha, making use of existing equipment. Type 5 Kiho was a modern light tank produced in very small numbers, seeing only limited combat use. Hungary and Romania. Toldi I and II were Hungarian light tanks based on Swedish designs, offering high speed and mobility well suited for reconnaissance roles. Turan Wyman II were Hungary's medium tanks, armed first with 40mm guns and later with 75mm cannons, and were used primarily on the Eastern Front. R2, Romania's main tank, was in fact the Czechoslovak-built Panzer 35T. It was widely employed in Romanian operations against the Soviet Union.